Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Brian Foster to defeat Chris Lytle. And I'm here to talk about Maryna Moroz versus Karine Silva 2. This is a rematch from 9 years ago, and I will get into that in a few minutes. Karine Silva is 29 years old, 16-4 as a pro, and she's giving up 2 inches of height to 31-year-old Moroz, who is 11-4 as a pro. Moroz, we've seen all 4 of her losses. They've been in the UFC. They were to Carla Esparza, Valerie Letourneau, Angela Hill, and Jennifer Maia most recently. That was her most recent fight. She has been very, very tough to hurt and seems impossible to finish, Maryna Moroz. I'd say she's a grappler more than a striker, but she's still a solid striker, and that's pretty much what she's been in the UFC because she doesn't always have the ability to get the fight to the ground. And in general, I think she's more dangerous off her back, which is how she tapped Karine Silva. Karine Silva, she's got the 16-4 record. Her primary trait on paper is that she's finished 16 of her 16 wins. 9 TKOs, 7 submissions. Some of the submissions come off her back. Some of the TKOs come on the ground. She is a very dangerous fighter, especially on the ground, and she's proven to be so at the UFC level. She's now 2-0 in the UFC, and she got the one on the Contender Series. Those are her best victories, and they're all finishes. She went through Poliana Botelho. Some people would say she knocked her down, but she punched her and crashed into a takedown, and then laced up a Darce choke and tapped her out pretty quickly. And then she went through Ketlin Souza and really fucked her leg up with some sort of a knee bar variant or whatever. But it was a devastating submission, fucked her leg, and got it done very quickly again. And the win over Kui Hee Yan was on the Contender Series. That girl was out wrestling her. It seemed to fluster Karine Silva. Karine tried to take down herself in round 2, couldn't get it, and I thought she was starting to look desperate, and she pounced on the first opportunity that presented itself, jumped on a guillotine choke, and got it. Proves she's still dangerous against good fighters in round 2. Which she's got a few submissions in round 2, a few finishes in round 2, but the majority, as you might guess, come in round 1. That's where she's most dangerous. Her 4 losses, she's got 1 via TKO. That was in her debut to this girl, Eleni Albuquerque. Got her out of there in round 3. I'm inclined to think it was a TKO instead of a knockout, but, kind of wish I saw it. Wasn't able to. Her next 2 losses come in 2014 and 2017, and they're the submission losses. 2014 was the first fight with Maryna Moroz. They crashed into each other again. Karine, I think, was trying to force a fight on the ground. Maryna Moroz obliged, jumped on an arm, and it just insisted on it. She wasn't able to get it right away, but she still got it very, very quickly and tapped Karine Silva out. That was plan A, and it worked. And then her next loss to Maryna Maknaknina, who's fighting in the PFL in a few days, that was a knee bar in 2017, and that was in 30 seconds. So needless to say, it was plan A. She just attacked that thing, and Karine Silva looked even more clueless than she did against Maryna Moroz. She did a better job defending that armbar 3 years earlier. But those are 2 very good fighters. I mean, she's fighting Moroz here in the UFC, and Maknaknina, again, she's fighting on television this week. But I'm sure she's patched up her ground game altogether just based on how dangerous she looks there. I mean, usually the defense follows the offense, but she could be one of those fighters like Michael Chiesa, where she's just that dangerous on the ground, but still that's her biggest vulnerability. You never know. And her most recent loss comes to another good fighter, Dione Silva Barboza de Lima. Girl doesn't have the biggest name, but she's got a gigantic fucking name. But she doesn't have the highest profile, but she's going to be a good fighter. And she outlasted Karine Silva. That was in 2019. Karine Silva had a good first round and then fell off. She was taken down in round 2 and round 3 and had her guard stuffed in round 3. In round 2, she looked like she ran out of energy, couldn't fight her way out of a leg lock. And she was just out of energy down the stretch, and that was the story of that fight. And to be honest, despite Maryna Moroz beating her with an armbar in round one, I think Maryna Moroz's primary path to victory lies in that Dione Silva Barboza de Lima fight, outlasting her, preferably out-grappling her, but in general, I think Karine Silva's biggest weakness, would be taking away a lot of her danger, and that's getting out of round one. I know she tapped Kui Yan in round two, and she had another nice finish over a solid girl. I forgot her name or whatever, but that was in round two a few years ago. In general, though, she's most dangerous in round one. Maryna Moroz is a well-versed fighter, probably doesn't have a wrestling advantage in most of her fights, but if she's able to get on top of Karine Silva by fatiguing her, I'm sure this fight will go her way. And even if not, in round two and round three, I expect Moroz to be winning. She's just a more comfortable fighter fighting in battles in the UFC. And I'm always harping on this UFC level shit, but now I'm always going to bring up Tough 31, which is airing right now. The Ultimate Fighters veterans went 7-1 in the prelim fights, or whatever they're called, the quarterfinal fights, against non-UFC veterans. It's just a thing. And you could take a fighter that has double-digit losses, and they're fighting a fighter with the prettiest record and all finishes and whatever, and it could still be the UFC fighter's matchup, his fight to lose or her fight to lose, because UFC level is a thing. And here I'm picking Moroz. Kind of like Pedro Munoz, I think she's got the durability to take away the danger of Karine Silva. And then I'm expecting her to take over in one way or another down the stretch. Now, I will hedge, of course, by playing on Karine Silva round one finish. I want to see those props, but I think I'll always play that, no matter who she's fighting. Maryna's never really been in a lot of trouble and never been finished, obviously, but Karine Silva, just the upside is there. She's very, very dangerous. But Maryna Moroz, she's got, the durability, the grit, the heart, the cardio. I'm thinking she fares better in a 15-minute fight in more than one way, and that's what I'm picking to happen. I've got Maryna Moroz plus 140. I will look for prop bets, especially if they're juicy, decision, or even late finish for a few sprinkles or whatever. But I think if she does win, cardio's a big part of it. Of course, she could be taken down and armbar Karine Silva in the same exact fashion. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, but I think her more likely path to victory lies in that Dione Silva Barboza de Lima fight. And as for Karine Silva, her path to victory is going to be the same in just about every matchup, crashing into a ground battle and submitting her opponent. She's very fucking dangerous, and she's only getting better and better, and it has been 9 years, so I wouldn't be surprised there. But I'm taking Moroz. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.